I look weird today. I look weird. Feeling weird, annoyed. Annoying. I feel like I'm like, what's happening? I'm like, everyone's pissing me off. Like reading shit. So, I'm working through shame. Ultimately, I am working through shame about the type of whore lifestyle, my promiscuous lifestyle I had in a past life. Like dealing with the stress of that, I guess. So, yeah, I have to clean my horm, and I don't want to, and haven't been. I want to play video games and just sit on the computer all day. I don't know. And everyone's annoying me. That's kind of like, hey. Yeah, like, what? You know? People are blowing me up, which is fun. I got drunk last night, so I was like hungover. But anyway, I'm talking about the shame. My hair's getting very long. The shame, like, it's just so hard to think back to hooking up with worthless ass men. That's very sad to think about. Like feeling like I didn't have, like, that I had to fuck, like, like the fucking worst fucking dudes. Not all of them, you know. And I haven't really slept with like that many people in this big scheme of things. Like I know people who've had many more and many much less. Like I'm not really like puritanical like that. Although I do believe there to be a psychological impact if you do fuck a lot of people and you're kind of blindly fucking. I think that is not good, especially for women. I think I don't know about men like that. Like I'm not really sure how they work in that regard. I just know it's not healthy for women ultimately because we're not really wired for that. I literally look like I have a lazy eye and it's pissing me off. I'm like, maybe I just do. Maybe everybody does. Hold on. Whatever. I'm reading about fucking contracts. Yeah, my Botox is wearing off. Yeah, I haven't like slept with that many people in the scheme of things, at least in my opinion. Again, like I said, I don't really care about that. But I just feel like the psychological impact it had on me was very upsetting because when I look back at it, it was very upsetting. Did I just say that twice? Like, I don't know. And I think in my last relationship, unbeknownst to my ex, I think he really made me feel like ashamed. It was just in relation to him because I had felt so comfortable. Oh, I'm going to start crying. I felt so comfortable with him sexually, even though, you know, there were some things about that too. But he was a really caring partner physically. So it wasn't, you know, I felt very safe and I felt like really open to him. And I was kind of like, wow, I guess I've never really felt like this before. That I've kind of like jumped into so many things. So maybe it's just look at that. Wait. It's like Kim. Wait. Anyway. Yeah, it just made me look back at some of the old shit and was like, damn, like, I really did let that happen. I really did let those people feel like they won. But, like, another notch on the belt style thing. But I was getting mine, you know, it wasn't like I just was like, I knew so many girls who would fuck dudes all the time and they would never come. And I was like, I'm coming every time. I have it. It's easier for me to come from people I'm not in a relationship with, because when I hit the intimacy, it's harder for me. At least in this moment. I mean, honestly, my ex was kind of like the first kind of confluence of that part of a relationship, because my ex before that was like kind of we had like okay sex too. Oh my god, cute. Sex was okay, but I feel like maybe he was like gay. That's my theory, is that he was gay a little bit. Maybe not, but he like didn't. There were just things he wouldn't do that were like normal, like go down. He just never. And I was so young. I like had only been with one other person. So when we got together, I was like in my early 20s. And I like had sex late in my book. So when I got out of the relationship, I was like 24. And I was like, or maybe 25. And I was just like, I gotta fuck. So, I mean, it makes sense. And I think when I was initially thinking about this, I had just remembering all the shame about it. But I, like, you know, talking with friends, talking to therapists and all that. It's like, well, you know, it's like, look at this tiny little baby. Like, what am I going to do with this? I had just kind of working through all that. Crazy shit. Yeah. Business is booming, I guess. My job with me, my besties. It's crazy, but whatever. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about shame. I want to talk about shame. It's just all, it keeps us from really like getting into the tea. It's like, stop. You can't go there because you're a bad person. Or you should have known. You should have known, you fucking loser. You deserve that because you should have known. It's kind of like my MO. I mean, a big part of kind of processing the breakup is having to get past the feeling that it's my fault that it happened the way it did. And it's just kind of like, I think I've just taken everything that's happened in my life, and because I'm like a control freak on certain levels, it's like, well, if it's my fault, then I can, I don't know, chew on it more, like make it make sense more to me. I'm not sure. It's mad crazy. I mean, getting off social media, I think, overall, separate but always related, kind of like makes this a lot easier. You know, when I, like, I didn't want to have to see anybody. I don't want to have to be like tempted by dick or some bullshit. Like, not that I'm just like not interested in anyone or seeing anyone or doing anything. Like, I need full, like 12 full. I think because the reason why this is all coming up is because in therapy, I mean, many things, but in therapy, we were talking about, like, you know, my therapist is like, you know, just because you don't want to, like, be in a relationship with anyone doesn't mean that you can't date. And so to me, when I think about, okay, now it's all dark now. Let me have some of my, not sponsored, but caffeine free. I have a martini that I made for myself in the fridge from like 2 days ago. But I'm hungover today, so I'm not going to do that. But anyway, where was I? Completely lost my train of thought. Oh, because when the idea of dating is brought up, I immediately think about sex. Because I've never actually, like, dated someone and not been in a relationship. Like, I've never done that. Never, ever, 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 ever. Never, ever, ever. It's been either going on a date to fuck, or I'm, like, in a relationship with someone. There's never really been a medium. And I think because, for a lot of reasons, I think, like, being an anxious attachment style, whatever the fuck, like, anxious person, I'm kind of like, well, are we in this or not? I can't feel safe unless you're committed to me. But now that I'm totally different, I'm kind of like, you ain't never gonna get me to commit to you. I say that now. I'm really angry now. I would like to be less angry. I would like to be less angry and less, like, you know, disappointed in the world. I'm like, you know. Oh my God, I want to cry. Oh my God, it's raining. Oh my God. Oh, the coolest thing. Listen how crazy this is. I'm at the coffee shop. I got my coffee. I'm like hungover. And I'm journaling. I'm like, ugh. Journaling. I'm like, damn, should I get another coffee to go? I was like, I want to try the mocha drink. I'm not really I've been on like a sweet drink kick. I really am not usually like that much. I have my headphones on. I'm writing. The barista comes to me and goes, do you want this? I was like, oh my God. And it was a mocha latte that she made with regular milk, because I always get regular milk. But I was like, oh my God, I was literally just thinking that. That's actually so crazy. So that was very cute. That was positive vibes. But yeah, I've never done, and I was talking with my friend. She was telling me this girl, she was telling me the story about this guy that she really liked. And in essence, he was using her. That's mean to say it that way. I'm sure that's not what he thinks. I know that's not what she wants to think. It's what I think, because of who I am now. But basically, she kind of showed her cards to this guy. Was like, I really like you. Was vulnerable. And he just kept going back and forth and waffling and fucking with her. Because he'd be like, I just want to be friends. She'd be like, okay. And then they would see each other and he would be romantic to her. Electric chair. You get the electric chair for that. You get the electric chair. Pew, pew, pew. You get shot for that. And he was a therapist. You get 2 guns for that. That's crazy. To fuck with my friend who is so, I'm just gonna cry. Just like a heart of gold. Like, very... I mean, everyone has their things. But she's a really good person. And a very caring person. And loves to be in love. And loves to love. She's just very open. And I think I see a lot of my old self in her. But now I just don't believe in the magic anymore. And when I was talking with her, I could see a lot of different perspectives. I could see so many different perspectives of like my ex and how he behaved with this guy. And I could see myself and my friend who was... I just was like, wow, it is really sad to not look at life so magically. And so that really put me in a sad space because I was like, it isn't... What the fuck? It isn't... The world isn't magic like that. And it isn't like that for anyone. Which is cool. It's sad because you want to believe in like this idea that there's magic in the world and that, you know, you just meet someone and then that's it. Like, it's just the best things, you know? But it's just not. It's just really not. It's just really, really not like that. It's really not like that. I really believed that you meet someone. Oh my God. You meet someone and then you love each other and then you make it work. And I think that in essence is true. But there's so many other factoids associated with that. And there's so many things that you could go through in a relationship. You can go through privately. And I think ultimately at the end of all this with my last, like, loving, you know, relationship, you know, as fucked up as it all ended, and it was really horrible, like, there was a lot of love there or else I wouldn't have wanted to be with him. But I loved him so much. You know. And now I just have to approach this shit all differently, completely. I have so much stuff in my life that I need to get straightened out. Just without a doubt. Because, like, you know... Yeah. In the beginning, with the breakup... Whenever I would, you know, flirt with someone or feel like, you know, flirt or feel flirty or something. My friend texted me something funny. I would be like, I'd go home and I would cry. Well, there was a lot of times that I would be hanging out with friends and then I just would go home and cry all night till I went to bed. And I'm not there anymore, you know. I've made so much progress for, I don't even know how many months it's been. We broke up in September. End of September. September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. It's been 10 months. That's crazy. I realized a couple weeks ago, I was like, it's almost going to be a year. That is fucking crazy. And we haven't spoken at all. He has not reached out to me at all. And that took me months to get over. I don't feel as much anymore about it as much anymore. I never really believed I would get to a point where I felt like this, or I'm just kind of like, whatever. But it's like, what can I do? Like, I don't want to talk to you. You are unsafe. because you left and didn't explain anything. Because you couldn't. But yeah, anyway, if I would be flirting with someone, I would be so sad the next day, or just when I would get home, because I would be like, look what I have to do now because of you. Like, look what I have to do now. Yeah, shame. Lots of shame. I don't even know how I would... I have, like, it's like, I have to, like, get my shit together. Because it's just, like, for the next 3... I mean, the other day I was sitting to myself and I was like, I could be single for the next 7 years of my life. Like, I have no... I just want to make art, have my job, make some coin, save some coin, go on vacations and trips, solo, with friends. Like, I don't want to have to answer to anyone. And then I'm countered with the counterpoint of, like, a relationship, you shouldn't feel like you have to answer to anyone. And I have no idea what that feels like. I don't know what a relationship is like that. With the kind of, like, mutual respect and all that. That's not necessarily true. But I just think I'm just such a naturally codependent person that I can get on that shit where I'm, like, resentful that I feel like I have to check in or, I mean, I think you do have to on a certain level. Not that I feel very controlling like that, like I used to be. But I got to work through a lot of that controlling nature of mine in the last relationship because I was like, I identified as someone who was crazy. And I still am, but, like, I identified as crazy, like, in relationships. So I was like, I have to be cool because this guy's going to leave. And that's how I felt. But I didn't acknowledge that inside. But up here, that was the fear thought that I just kind of pushed down into my brain. And it was true. I mean, it was true. And I kept it so cool and so inside, and I was so kind to him. Of course I have my faults, but, like, y'all don't even know, I tried, I genuinely was the best I could be. I tried my best. I really, really did. I was always trying to fix things and fix it too much. I think that's kind of like the thing, but in a relationship, you have to be with someone who can communicate that to you and be like, look, you don't have to do all this, like X, Y, or Z. But, he's a bit of a user ultimately as well. And his mental illness makes him self-centered. There's nothing else to say. He could not function as a person, could not cope with living, and kind of needed me to, like, validate his existence. And I needed that too. I wanted that from him very badly. And ideally, we would be able to validate ourselves and this wouldn't be a thing. But it's like, I've relied so much on external validation to kind of satisfy me that's where I'm at now, as I'm trying to, like, work through that and sit with myself and validate myself to believe that I'm worth that. Sore. And that's on period. That's on period, love. Yeah.
Just be feeling like, okay.
Yeah. I don't know. It's very crazy shit, bro. Very crazy shit. So yeah, I think I'll work through it. I was flirting with someone yesterday, and that was kind of fun. It's like a friend of a friend. Part of me is like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I want to be... I want to know everything. Ultimately. I want to know everything. I want to know how to do everything. That's what I want to do. I want to be like, okay. I know what to say when someone says something like this. I'm going to read The Art of Seduction very soon. And I want to test out and see what the fuck I can do. Any tips? Tips of the trade! Trade. Tips of the trade! Literally. I got this other book that I started that I was so depressed. I got a bunch of books. This is like October of last year. I was like, oh, I was like, this man destroyed my life. Like, I didn't feel like life was over, but he killed the old me. That bitch is dead, girl. She's not dead. She just is... She's retired. Knocked that bitch to an early retirement. She should have retired a long time ago, but she couldn't give it up, man. That part of me, she could not give it up, girl. She was like,
What do you mean?
what do you mean it's not going to work out? What do you mean it's not going to work out? It has to work out. Or else, like, uh-oh. Now I'm like, catch me if you can, Mr. Combs. Like, catch me if you fucking can. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. And wait till I'm 20 pounds skinnier. 15 for all the people who get scared. Nobody's even watching this. If you're watching to the end of this, you're a real one. Middle finger up. Put your middle finger in the comment. Nobody's watching this. It's not for anyone. It's for me. Okay. Thank you.